Sony Xperia 1 Mark V here in the US. Finally. Man, that was a long wait. Man, I pre-ordered this sucker like 2 months ago, 3 months ago. A long time. I covered it though because of course Sony was kind enough to send it out to me, let me borrow it for like a month. And this is the khaki green color. So this phone, I want to say it's my favorite phone this year. There's so much to like about this phone. It's just enough of a departure from the norm. It's not a Samsung. It's not a Google. It's got kind of a stock experience. It's got one heck of a camera setup on here. And of course, the beautiful 4K screen on the front, 6.5 inches, built-in fingerprint sensor, and the power button. It's got a lot of amazing things. 5,000 milliamp battery, Snapdragon 8 Generation 2, expandable storage, headphone jack. Yes, you can put a memory card and a headphone jack on this sucker. What other phones can you say that about at the flagship level in 2023? This is a very unique phone. And it's funny, I've seen a lot of articles, I've seen a lot of videos. Everyone's like, it's the same old, same old. I'm like, well, yeah, it is kind of the same design, but it's better. It's substantially better in a whole lot of ways, and that's something that's exciting to talk about. It's not like when you take a look at sometimes the incremental upgrades you get with other phones. I've been waiting on this phone to manifest for 2 years. So I first bought the Sony Xperia 1 Mark III, and I fell in love with it, but the selfie camera was pants. Like, it was not good. So then I was like, all right, I love this phone. I love the design. They're going to upgrade it. They're going to give better cameras. We're going to get a better selfie camera in the Xperia 1 Mark IV, and it's in purple. So, of course, I bought the Xperia 1 Mark IV, and I loved it. Until I went outside and tried to record anything, it would overheat in like a minute. It was a complete and utter disaster with basically a big asterisk next to basically everything last year that had a Snapdragon 8 Generation 1 in it. Enter stage right. Or left. I don't know. Whatever. So it's got the Snapdragon 8 Generation 2. It doesn't have heat issues. You can record for like eternity. You can record. You can do whatever you want. You can stand on your head. You can go to mime college. You can do whatever you want with this phone. And it's great because the thermals are fixed. Like, it was really bad before. I would try and play a game of Apex Legends on the Xperia 1 Mark IV, and I basically had to wear like thermal gloves because it would get so hot. It wouldn't shut down though. It was crazy. Like, it would be a raging inferno. And it was funny because Sony's idea to fix the heating issue was just to put a disclaimer that said it could get so hot it burns your hands, so be careful. So, I don't know. They're like, we can't fix it. We're just going to put a warning on it. So, Xperia 1 Mark V basically fix all that stuff. Plus, of course, you've got the Gorilla Glass on here. It's textured, super nice, wireless charging, reverse wireless charging, 30-watt wired charging, the whole 9 yards. And it's a beautiful phone. It's got these contoured ridges on the edges that help with grip. One thing I didn't like about the Xperia 1 Mark IV, it was slick. And you absolutely had to put a case on it. And it's funny because I'm actually using last year's case. So basically everything's just close enough that my Spigen case from last year, actually Caseology, this is a Caseology Vault. You pretty much can't find them anywhere, but it's still kind of a holdover from last year. I'm using it with this phone, and it works out just fine. I've got a matte film screen protector on here from Mr. Shield, and I paid like $7 for a 3-pack or something like that, but I'm so glad to have it back. I really love this phone, and I spent a lot of time with it. I made a lot of videos, and if you're a Sony fan, and if you want something out there that's like a massive flagship level phone, you get all these great manual controls with the cameras. Of course, you've got the continuous zoom, which is great because you get that optical telephoto zoom that you can adjust. Just like, think of it this way. If you've ever shot with a DSLR before and you get those zoom lenses and you kind of go like this and adjust it and that true optical zoom, this does it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So there's a lot of neat things going on here, and I love the shots that it takes. And of course, you've got Cinetone and all that stuff. It shoots 4K at 120 frames per second. You got a 4K screen, dual stereo speakers, and the whole 9 yards. Only caveat, $1,399. It is an expensive phone, but I think if you go into it with this phone, this is a very kind of enthusiast phone. Like, most people that buy this, they know what they want, and they know what they don't want. So they don't want an iPhone. They don't want a Samsung phone. They don't want a Google phone. They want Sony. They want the premium Xperia, basically Sony Alpha and a phone camera experience that gives you manual controls. You can take some amazing photos. You get great processing power. This is a perfect phone for gaming, too. It has pass-through charging. So even if you were worried about heating, you're worried about the battery, you can just plug the sucker in and play to your heart's content because it'll feed straight off the power and bypass no heat issues. So that's quite amazing, really. So not a whole lot of phones do that. The game centers on here is cool. You can actually stream directly to YouTube gaming on here. Or if you want to do a live stream, you can do that too. this phone is so versatile. You can get like the creator kit for it. You can get the external monitor. You can get the hand grip. There's a lot of different things you can do with this. And it's no ordinary cup of tea. Like, this is not a normal phone that most folks are going to go out and buy. But I think it is one that will turn some heads. And it'll make people really think, hey, maybe there is something out there other than Samsung and other than Apple and other than Google. Now, looking at the price tag. Yeah, so $13.99. It's expensive, but I do got to say it came down like $200 from last year, so I'm happy about that. I actually like the design. I think it's very noticeable. I think it's recognizable as Sony. I love the way it looks. It's nice. It's super lightweight. And I've been using the Pixel Fold. I even let my wife hold it earlier. She uses an iPhone 14 Pro Max, and she's like, wow, it's so light. And it's so easy to use one-handed. I love using this phone, and especially, like I talk about this in other videos, I don't have the largest hands in the world. I can use this one-handed so easily because, like the S23 Ultra, it's much wider. The iPhone 14 Pro Max is much wider. It's bulkier. So easy to use one-handed. And what's also nice is it's perfect for content creation because you can plug stuff in. You can plug in a monitor. You can plug in a mic in here, like a monitor for listening, right? But it also has great microphone pickup on here if you want to use it natively that way. I've even recorded YouTube videos on here before. I might do it again soon just so I can give everybody a whirl and show it off. Plus, you get 256 gigabytes of storage, and you can put an SD card in here. An SD card. So you can get expandable storage too, which is great. That way, if you want to go out, take a lot of photos, you want to shoot in RAW, you want to shoot in 4K, Cinetone, all that stuff, just pop the SD card out, throw another one in there, and you're good to go. There's all sorts of different apparatus stuff you can get for it. I have actually a little frame that goes around it that has a really nice Shure microphone that cost me like $250. You can shoot some really pro grade level stuff with this. And it's even got the Venice filter, Venice CS, so it basically kind of looks like cinematography whenever you're shooting with it. It just gives it this crazy cool extra look. And I'm going to come back and talk more about that. I made a lot of videos about this. So if you want to check some of them out, just type in Tech Odyssey, Sony Xperia 1 Mark V. I made probably 15 videos with this while I had it during like the 4 or 5 weeks. And I'm not going to rehash over that right here, but really I just want to talk about it and say, look, it's back. I am so happy. I'm so happy I got it back because I really miss this phone. And it's one of those things, yes, I have my normal tech addiction stuff. I have my phones I get attached to, and I'm like, all right, once I let go of it, move on to something else, I don't really think about a lot of them too much. But this one, I have been waiting to get this phone back in my hands for like 2 months, and I'm so glad that it's finally here because it's given me the Sony experience that I've always wanted. And that's what they finally delivered here. Last year was close, but they finally delivered it this year, especially with the Snapdragon 8 Generation 2, 5,000 milliamp battery. Battery lasts me all day, Android 13, runs smooth as heck, and it doesn't have any issues. It's just a really nice premium experience, and I love the dedicated shutter button. You can just press it and hold it. Ta-da! And it pulls up the camera. Well, if it didn't close it. There we go. So you can pull the camera right up with the shutter button. That's super nice. What other phone has that? This phone is built from the ground up for content creation. It's got a premium build quality. It's got good battery. It's got pass-through charging capabilities to keep you running for a long time. It's got great connectability with the platforms, the individual camera apps you can stream, upload straight to the internet while you're recording. There's so many cool things you can do with it. And then, just as a daily driver normal phone, it's such a pleasure to use, and it has great haptic feedback. It's nice to type on. I know, I'm just gushing and gushing, but the thing is, I love this phone. And like I said, I've been waiting for it. I've been waiting for this phone for 2 years because the Xperia 1 Mark III was kind of there. The 1 Mark IV got us even closer, and this is just finally like the icing on the cake, the perfect Sony phone. They finally nailed it, and I think it competes really well with like the S23 Ultra, with all the other phones that are out there. This is in another whole class of its own, like a whole nother rung up there. And a lot of people won't appreciate it. If you're not into manual photography, if you don't care about Sony, this doesn't have as long as software support and stuff like that, most people will find more value in a Samsung. Most people will find more value in a Google phone, especially like point and shoot photography. Now, they have improved point and shoot photography on here, but it's not as good. They don't lean into the computational photography stuff like Google and Samsung and everybody else does. So if you don't want to spend some time, if you don't want to learn it, if you don't know a little bit about cameras, if you don't want to dive in and have a different phone experience for once, well, you probably don't want this phone. And again, $13.99 is pretty cost prohibitive. And you can't just walk in, you can't trade stuff in at T-Mobile and get one like $1,000 off. You got to want this phone. But if you want this phone, I think it's going to live up to the expectations and give you an experience that you've been looking for in a phone for probably a couple of years now. So that's it. It's here. You can pick it up. You can go to Amazon. You can go to Sony. You can go to Best Buy. I've got some links in the description if you want to go straight there. That's fine. Or if you just wanted to sit here and listen to me ramble on about how much I love the Xperia 1 Mark V, I hope I delivered that to you today. And I hope that you didn't expect any less, because I have missed this phone. I know I was very sad about having to let go of it when I had to send it back to Sony, but it's here. Of course, you can buy it in this beige green, or this khaki green color. It looks sharp. I like it a lot better than black. So that's all I've got. Going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Hey, I didn't talk about Samsung folding phones for once. So hopefully y'all enjoyed this and got a little bit of extra flavor on the side of something else. And those of you who love the Sony videos have something to watch again. So I will make some more content about this. I'm kind of going to do like a refresh. I already did a full review. I've done a full review on this phone already, and it stands. You can check it out right here. I encourage you to go watch it because you can see the photo samples, some video samples. You can see I really talk about it in great detail, not just talking kind of about it. I was very much focused, and it's a good review, I think. I mean, I'm biased because it's my own video, but I mean, you should go watch it. So that's all I got. Happy to have this back. If you got one, or if you're interested, I'd love to hear from you in the comment section. Let me know what your preference is on the Sony phone. But yeah, that's all I got in this video. So if you have any questions or comments, of course, please head to the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.